Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rukah Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to the Yakim out there worldwide, that's forwarding the ministry and exhorting Yahushua, and continuing on the diligence, most importantly, out of the sincerity of their hearts. And shalom to those that are heeding to the ministry as well. It's the brother Marga coming at you with another video, and in this video today, I'm going to be speaking about this thing that the Israelis want to do with the whole of the Middle East, and that's to formulate this Abraham Accord thing, which is to bring about peace in the Middle East. And I've seen this before, but it just went right back over my head. So through the Spirit, it's confronted me again, this Abraham Accord thing, and I'm going to deal with it. You know, Lord willing, and this video will be edifying as well. So the article says, can the Abraham Accords bring a biblical era of peace to the Middle East? Interview. And the answer to that question is no, because according to prophecy, in these days and times that the wicked are ruling, which is indeed the so-called white man, which indeed his biblical name is Esau and Edom, there will be no peace, but rather destruction. And I want to get some scriptures to back that up. But before I do that, I want to read what's in this article. So let's go and read. Let's begin right over here. It says, in the annals of ancient history of the Middle East, a man named Abraham received the promise from the Most High. They have it from God. I'll just read it verbatim. That he will become the father of many nations. So begins the second episode of a new documentary called the Abraham Accords, named the Peace of Treaties signed by Israel and its Arab neighbors last year. On the surface, it is an unexpected opening for a film about the signing of a diplomatic breakthrough agreement, but according to the film's executive producer, the former U.S. ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, and Abraham Accords also hold a very important place from a biblical perspective. I always felt that marked the reconciliation of the Jews and Muslims, something which was viewed favorably among biblical authorities, he said. Yeah, biblical authorities that don't have the truth because they don't know Bible prophecy. The first episode of the documentary, produced by Trinity Broadcasting Network, the world's largest Christian television broadcast in the U.S., aired earlier this year. The second episode is slated to run on Friday the 3rd. So it's already running. I don't know if this is a series or it's just a film. It's probably just a series because it says the second episode. So they're doing episodes of it. So it reads, it says, it was not by accident. Friedman said that a Christian producer was selected to make this film. A little more of a biblical narrative as described in the documentary. The children of Israel are the Jewish descendants of Abraham, sons of Isaac, and from his wife Sarah, the children of Ishmael are Abraham's Arabic descendants from his handmaid Hagar. From the house of Israel, the Jewish prophet Moses was born, and the Torah was written centuries later. From the house of Israel, Jesus, considered by Christians to be their Messiah, was born, and the New Testament was written. And then from the house of Ishmael, the prophet Muhammad was born, and the Quran was written. Now, when Ishmael was on the scene, when he was just born, there was no such thing as the Quran. So I just want to put that out there in saying that the Quran didn't come late until Anno Domini, or after the death of the Lord, 600 years afterwards. All right, so the thing about it is man, one day, what these people planning on doing or trying to conjure up is the idea that the people of the East can formulate together with their religions. And I kind of looked into it before the Abraham Accords, and I think what it entails, if my memory serves me correctly, is the fact that, as I've said, and I'll say it again, they want to formulate all religions together as one religion. And that's their way of bringing peace all around. But according to the Bible, there will be no peace unto the wicked. As long as the wicked is ruling, sometime or another, the evil ones that are in power today, the wicked, which is Esau and Edom, will eventually see the demising of their civilization and total destruction, major destruction, have you will. So let's begin and read Isaiah 57, verse 21. It says, "There's no peace, saith the Most High, to the wicked." Exactly. Because you can be wicked and expect peace from that. It doesn't work like that. That's not how the laws of nature operate. If you do wrong, then you shall receive for the wrong that which you have done. And what is the wrong that Esau has done? Well, overall, just to make it short, is that he's broken the laws, the statutes, and commandments overall. So therefore, the whole earth lieth in wickedness. And therefore, as well as that, afterwards, there's going to be a recompense to that. Okay, we can begin by the affliction of the children of Israel, enslaving our people, and slaughtering the natives of their own land and stealing their own land. That hasn't been repaid. Need I must go on. There's so many atrocities that was done by these people, these small hats, and as well as overall the Edomites, that eventually all of that is going to have to be taken into account, which the Heavenly Father has already taken into account already, because everything that is done in heaven on earth, thing which is outwardly or thing which is secret, the Heavenly Father has already got an account of all of that. So therefore, the so-called white man, to be exact, will have to pay for the crimes that they have committed against the earth and the people of the earth, and in more in particular, the children of Israel. You see? And as it is written, the Lord have a controversy with Zion. Not a controversy with the nation, but the Lord has a controversy to the ill deeds which was done unto them by the hand of their brother, which is Esau, and his descendants. And this is why the Messiah is getting ready to come back. And this is why there will be a nuclear war, as it is spoken of in the scriptures. The scriptures speak about on how the third world cometh quickly. So there is no peace unto the wicked on this side of town. There will be peace and only peace when the real Israelites return back to the land. But let me read this and then I'll get to that precept. So this is Job 21 verse 30. It says that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction, and they shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. And who shall declare his way to his face, and who shall repay him what he hath done? All right. And that's what's being shown by the men of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shemel Shai, which Yahweh Shai set up these men to declare it to his face. When we go outside and we teach, what are we really doing? We're really prophesying against Edom, pursuant to the book of Ezekiel 35 and verse 1, which was commanded by Ezekiel the prophet. The Lord told him to prophesy against Mount Seir, and that's what we're doing. There's 1,000 of us that's actually doing that. And as we're condemning this devil, condemning this man, and showing this man to his face what he's done, his wrongs, simultaneously, little and little, gradually, this society is moving towards its own demise. So that's who's declaring it to his face. It's the men of the Lord. It reads in the Apocrypha, in the book of Wisdom of Solomon 5, where it says that the righteous will stand in great boldness against those that have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. All right? And who shall repay him what he hath done? The Messiah is going to repay him ultimately for what he hath done. So there's no peace on the earth, and there's not going to be no peace in the Middle East. And here's the U.S. Department of State.gov, and what they have on the Abraham Accord logo is the dove, which symbolizes peace, supposedly. So it says the Abraham Accord Declaration, the undesigned recognize the importance of maintaining and strengthening the peace in the Middle East and around the world based on mutual understanding and coexists, as well as respect for human dignity and freedom, including religious freedom. And we encourage efforts to promote interfaith and intercultural dialogue to advance a culture and peace among the three Abrahamic religions and all humanity. So this is the goal. The goal is to merge all of these religions together, which stems all the way back to the Christian church. And I mean, Everything would be peaceful if, as long as he's ruling everybody else. But the minute someone within the Middle East decides to exercise a level of power and authority, there's a problem with that. And speaking about peace in the Middle East, which the quite contrary is happening. And I just want to read an article here. It says Iran showcases medium-range missile that can reach Israel. And this is a recent article which was brought forth. One of the brothers have sent it forth on the phone as I'm reading them. So you have articles upon articles concerning the variance and the beef between the two countries, Iran and Israel. And that's really because the Heavenly Father is in the spirit among these nations to gather them to the valley of Jehoshaphat. In the word Jehoshaphat is the word Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew, which means the Heavenly Father's judgment. So that's what all of these nations are getting prepared for, the Heavenly Father's judgment in this war, basically. You know what I'm saying? So the spirit of war is in the air rather than the spirit of peace, which is not going to happen. Now, I want to read another precept that I was quoting before, because there will be peace on the face of the earth, but the only time where peace will abound is when the real Israelites return back to the land, so much so that the nations will learn war no more. Let's read this. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountains of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And as I've said, and I just want to get back on the topic of what I was briefly speaking on about these religions, on how Esau wants to merge all of these religions together as one. And all of that is confusion. And with confusion being at bay, you can't have peace with that. All right? So even on that aspect, there's no peace. All right? Isaiah chapter 2. Let's go back to this. Verse 2, it says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountains of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of Jacob, to the house of God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, and neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord. So these nations are going to be in a state of tranquility when we rule over them. And therefore, they're going to want to follow our ways. So I think this is what this Abraham Accord is about. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to fulfill Isaiah chapter 2. But you can't force prophecy from happening. Prophecy just happens on a natural. All right. So I mean, if you have to force prophecy from happening, it's really because you're not the people. Okay. It's really because these small hats that's in the land of Israel today, which are not the people, they're showing more so that they're not the people by forcing prophecy and saying that back in 1948, that was the time when basically all of Israel went back to the land from their captivity. No, that's not a fulfillment of prophecy. That's supposed to be a fulfillment of Isaiah chapter 2. No, it's not. Excuse me. So I guess that's what the Abraham Accord is about. Like I said, I'm guessing. I'm not trying to say it is gospel truth, but they're trying to establish peace among the people of the East. But there's no peace because we're reading recent articles and dealing with the two nations, the beef of them that they have between the two. And it's getting hot between these two little nations, man. All right. But it's going to continue to get hot until someone makes that move. And then before you know it, this place is up in smokes. A world war is about to happen real soon. Within the East, and as well as it will proliferate all around the world to destroy the civilization, and the Lord is making his second return as well. And after that's all said and done, and the Israelites return back to the land in the kingdom of heaven, then peace will abound. So with that, I will give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Barakah Kodash, and Shalom to all of the brothers out there and a few of the sisters that are in this thing of ours as well. Shalom.